Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, 3GW, here on a Friday night before Survivor Series. I'm your host, Mr. Eric, joined by nobody. Riding solo this weekend. Not this weekend, but tonight. Riding solo. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment podcast I wanted to do. Didn't really get to do one. Technically, last week we had 2 podcasts. So, things are a little off. I didn't even realize that Survivor Series was this Sunday until this past week. Watching, Monday Night Raw and the events that took place there. And then, obviously, SmackDown was tonight. So, I am here to preview Survivor Series and get you listeners ready for what is one of the big 5 or big 4 if you're, a traditionalist. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty and breaking down the show, I did want to come on here and kind of talk about some things that revolve around Survivor Series and some of the memories that I have of this card. And gotta remember, I broke into wrestling in WCW, so I don't have the history of, like Mr. Rob Blake and Book have with, Undertaker and the old school WWE guys. But I do have Survivor Series moments that stand out to me. So, and these are in no particular order. Obviously, number 1 has to be Undertaker debuting because this year we are celebrating 30 years of Undertaker. And if you are a Hot Ones fan, I strongly recommend checking out The Undertaker on Hot Ones. This week he was the featured guest and he made it through all 10 wings, and he was a trooper. So I gotta, he's the dead man. He gotta be able to handle those hot sauces, and he did well. It was a good show. It's a different type of interview because even the Undertaker, Mark Calloway pointed out that the questions in this interview were different than the ones he gets constantly. So it was nice. It was refreshing. And for those that haven't seen the Last Ride series, the 5-part series, highly, highly recommend you check it out. It's akin to the Michael Jordan series, which I don't even understand why Mike put that out, but it's a way to understand where Undertaker came from and where he is now all at one time. So recommend both of those. Check them out. Last Ride, Hot Ones, Undertaker, 30 years. I'm guessing he's going to come out, cut a promo, probably thank the fans, maybe even choke slam somebody, who knows who, maybe interfere with a match. I don't know. I don't know what they got planned. I'm sure they have something big time planned. I know that there's a lot involved with this 30-year anniversary. That's all I can say. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Who could forget that The Shield debuted at Survivor Series? Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, The Shield. I believe they debuted and they did the triple powerbomb on Ryback. Through the announce table. So that's how they made their debut, wearing those hideous black turtlenecks. And then they immediately switched to the SWAT gear. So Yeah, the Shield for sure. Gotta remember the Shield. One of my favorite, to me, one of the greatest factions or groups. I mean, ever, and that's based on the impact that they had in the short amount of time that they were together. It spoke volumes, and I'm honored to say I was there in person for their final match as the Shield. Elimination Chamber debut. We actually did a retrospective on Survivor Series 2002. Retrospective Survivor Series with the Elimination Chamber. Make sure you just go check it out and, listen to that show. Team Angle versus Team Lesnar. That would be 2003, the following year. And they held the record for the heaviest team in Survivor Series history. That would be Team Lesnar facing Team Angle. That was a really good Survivor Series. Well, I don't know about really good, but that match was really good. You go back and look at the people in that match, and that match kicked off the show. I thought it was a great way to start, and I recommend seeking out that match. Who could forget, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar? Who could forget Sting making his debut? Probably one of the bigger moments was The Rock making his return to the wrestling ring. Kind of want to shake out the ring rust a little bit, maybe. And tagging with John Cena before facing him at WrestleMania. Tagging with him and facing R-Truth and The Miz, which main evented Survivor Series that year. I believe that was 2011 Survivor Series. Rock was shredded to the bone, and that match was highly entertaining. Inside Madison Square Garden. Again, that's probably a retrospective we will soon do, hopefully. Big Show won his very first ever WWE Championship at Survivor Series in a triple threat match. It was him, Triple H, and The Rock. And Big Show won his very first WWE Championship. I know a book, and I think Rob even are not the biggest Big Show fans. I mean, I'm not a Big Show mark by any means, but the storytelling and the culminating in the fact that he won the WWE Championship, WWF Championship at the time, it meant a lot. And they did, to me, at the time, they knew how to book him, and it didn't last long, unfortunately. But at that time, I cared a lot about the Big Show. They did a good job making me care about him winning. And hey, that's half the battle. Now, if you're not watching The Mandalorian, I don't know what's wrong with you. Unless you're just not into Star Wars at all, which I get it. But if you even like Star Wars and you're not watching Mandalorian, something's wrong with you. It is a fantastic show. Cannot recommend it enough. And if you are a wrestling fan as well, you can look forward to seeing Sasha Banks in episode 3 of season 2. I will not spoil what happens. Just know that she's in it and she's freaking badass. She's kicking ass. She's taking names. She looks good. She fits the part. And I hope to see more of her in the acting realm and Hollywood side as well as WWE. So, big congrats to her on a successful episode. And I hope, again, this leads to more opportunities for her. She's killing it in and out of the ring. What else? Oh, Jon Moxley and Renee Young are expecting. So congratulations to them. Expecting their first child together. I myself am not anticipating, but we're expecting. We're having we keep saying it, our last child on his way. Within the next couple weeks, it should be. So, while it's not the same feeling as having your first, I can honestly say that there's no feeling like bringing another life into the world and then watching them grow. My oldest son he's turned 7 in a few days. I have a stepson who just turned 8 today, and then a daughter that's gonna be 2 soon. So I'm all over the spectrum. And then a newborn on the way. So I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate to be able to, call myself a dad of not just 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 total. I include my stepson in that because at the end of the day, I'm the male figure that he sees day in and day out. So moving right along. So this past Monday we had a WWE Championship match, and if you haven't seen Monday Night Raw, maybe you want to skip a couple minutes down the line, or maybe you want to skip the rest of the show, because I'm getting ready to spoil what happens on Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre faced Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, and the winner was going to face Roman Reigns this Sunday. Drew came out and he had a badass entrance with the kilt and the sword and the fire and the pyro. It's awesome. And of course, the Viper Randy Orton coming out, as only he can. And they put on a great match. It probably was their best match in the whole series, in the whole feud. And the winner, finally hitting a Claymore kick on Randy Orton, was Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre is now a 2-time WWE champion, and he will be facing Roman Reigns this Sunday at Survivor Series. And I cannot wait to see how that goes down. It's one of the biggest matches. Even though these two have faced off before, things are different now. Now we got Roman as the heel Roman, the tribal chief. And we got Drew as pretty much the face of Monday Night Raw. So it's just elevated now. And that was the thing why we wanted Roman to turn heel. Like it's one thing, yeah, you freshen him up. It's a change in direction and everything. But the feuds he can have now have a twist, because now he's the bad guy, and you freshen up all these feuds. So it's even though we've seen him wrestle Drew, it's almost like we're getting something new Sunday night, and realistically neither man can afford to lose. So we're gonna get to the predictions here in a little bit, but man, I can't wait for that. I hope they tear it up. I think they will. The two different styles. There's two different styles clashing. No pun intended. I think will work well. You got Roman. Roman cut a vicious promo tonight. Not vicious, but scathing for sure. Calling Drew the second man. He's the backup, essentially the backup champion. When Roman's too busy or Roman can't make it, I'll send Drew. Roman's the main guy. He's the guy, and he's letting people know. And I love that about his character now. Instead of being this humble guy, no. Be that badass. And then one day, even should they turn him face 2 years from now, he should still be this anti-hero of knowing that I'm that guy. I'm that dude. So now I think that's pretty much it as far as topics I wanted to talk about. And let's just get into the predictions. So let me pull up the other guys. They were kind enough to send me their predictions at least. So let's get it. Apparently, I didn't know about this. There was a dual brand battle royal. I guess I'm just gonna agree with Mr. Rob on this one. I'm just gonna go with Lars Sullivan, big guy that just came back. He needs a big win in a big way. I mean, I guess you could go Braun Strowman. He could use the win as well. You know what? I'm gonna go Braun. So Mr. Rob's going Lars Sullivan. I'm gonna go Braun Strowman. Oh, maybe I can't choose Braun Strowman. If he's in the 5-on-5. Okay, well then I guess I gotta stick with Lars Sullivan then at that point. All right. Well, I guess Mr. Blake doesn't have a submission on that match. Okay. So, Bobby Lashley, the Raw United States Champion versus Sami Zayn, SmackDown's Intercontinental Champion. I think Sami Zayn has been a decent Intercontinental Champion, but there's no way in hell he's going to beat Bobby Lashley. There's just no... It doesn't make sense. It doesn't look right. There's nothing about that that's appealing for Sami Zayn to win. He's the heel. Well, they're both heels, really, which is odd and makes it a little harder to predict. But I'm going Bobby. Blake's going Bobby, and so is Rob. So, Bobby Lashley, for sure. The New Day. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods versus the Street Profits. Now, I actually am looking forward to this because I love the fact that the New Day mocked the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw. I thought that was awesome. These four brothers are going to tear it up. And while I like the Street Profits, I think they still got a little bit of ways to go. So I'm going to predict that the New Day are going to get the W and teach the Profits a lesson. But Mr. Blake disagrees. He's going with Street Profits. I guess we'll find out Sunday now, won't we? Another match I'm looking forward to: Asuka versus Sasha Banks, the Raw Women's Champion versus the SmackDown Women's Champion. Anytime these two women get together, it's a match. It's a match made in heaven, and all their matches have been fantastic. Yeah, they've done it a few times this year already, but when you got a good thing going, you just gotta stick with it sometimes. So. I'm actually going to give Sasha Banks the nod. I think she needs to win. She's the SmackDown Women's Champion, newly crowned SmackDown Women's Champion, and the last few times she's faced Asuka, she's come up short. So I am going to give Sasha the win here. Mr. Blake is saying Asuka, and Rob is also saying Asuka, and they both feel like Bayley is going to interfere and cause Sasha Banks to win. I could see Bayley coming out post-match, or maybe even trying to interfere, but maybe not getting there. I mean, I hope not. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread this. Carmella. So Blake predicts Carmella will interfere, which makes more sense because I think they're getting away from the whole Bayley thing. I think they are moving forward with Carmella. We're going to get her and Carmella probably at TLC or whatever pay-per-view is after Survivor Series. Okay. Traditional tag team 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Got Team Raw, the men. Team Raw. AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle versus Team SmackDown. Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis. This is tough, but I'm gonna go Team Raw. I think Team Raw is stacked with AJ and Keith Lee alone, and then you throw in Strowman. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Matt Riddle fan per se, but you throw him in there, and then Sheamus. I think they can get the win over them. So I'm gonna go Team Raw gets the win. Mr. Rob's going Team SmackDown, and Blake is going Team Raw as well with me. So we shall see, gentlemen. And while we're there, let's just go ahead and do the women's match. Team Raw, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce versus Team SmackDown, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. Now, in this case, I am going to go with Team SmackDown because I want Bianca Belair to just run roughshod, even though I like Shayna Baszler too, so I don't really want her to get squashed. But Nia Jax need her ass kicked. Okay? Because it's supposed to be Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, not Lana and Lacey Evans. So, because Nia Jax hurt my Mandy, yes, my Mandy Rose is hurt now because of Nia. I need Nia to get her ass whooped. I need everybody to jump on her, get her pinned, get her the fuck out of there. All right? I tried to defend her, and it's just not working. She is dangerous. She is hurting people more and more and more and more. And it's to the point where she's being a detriment to other people's careers. So, I don't know why they won't even punish her. I know Blake talks about she's The Rock's cousin. I just can't see that being why. I mean, why you wouldn't even suspend her at least something? Because if you're The Rock, you can't just say, "Oh, well, that's my cousin," blah blah blah. But dude, she's hurting people all the time. It's not even like once in, Seth Rollins had a streak of doing it, but then, it's been a while since he actually hurt somebody. So okay, we can let that go. With Nia, it's almost every week with this woman, somebody's hurt. So and nobody, I can't imagine anybody wanting to work with her. So something's got to happen. She needs to get a humongous receipt. I mean, what more evidence do you need than that she ruined the Becky Lynch Ronda match 1-on-1? Punch Becky, elbow Becky dead in her nose, which I guess that was a blessing and a curse at the same time, because that visual of Becky standing at the top of the ramp, just bleeding, and that was epic. I guess I got to throw, since I was talking about Survivor Series moments, I guess I do got to throw in Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. That was a great match. And then the fact that Becky couldn't compete, all of that was great for TV. But at the end of the day, you hurt Becky. She was the number one woman at the time. They gotta do something with Nia. They just do. And Mr. Rob predicts that the women's team's gonna win. So Team Raw, he predicts that Team Raw is gonna win. And looks like Mr. Blake didn't submit one for that one. So yeah, Team Raw for Mr. Rob. I'm going Team SmackDown with that one. And I think, last but not least, is of course Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Raw's WWE Champion versus SmackDown's Universal Champion. This is tough. They've made this really hard by adding this match. Because I like Drew as a champion. I really do. I think he's a great champion. He has the look. He has the promos. He looks great with the belt. He has a connection with the fans. I mean, this is somebody that went from being pushed as Vince's guy to getting fired to making it on the indie scene to making a name for himself in TNA, coming back to NXT, and then making it back on the main card and being the guy. But then you got Roman Reigns, somebody that, again, blood of the Rock, Samoan dynasty, tried for years and years and years to push him as a babyface, was not working. But now we have the hottest heel in wrestling today, right now. Right now, the best heel with the storyline to the promos. He's the best heel. The execution in the ring needs work as far as putting together the matches. But as far as the character, the promos, absolute fire. So, based on the night, based on what happened on SmackDown, it's tough. Oh my God. I like both guys. I feel like neither one of them can afford to lose, but somebody's got to lose in this one, and it sucks. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Roman. I don't think he can afford to lose yet. He's just this new character, and I don't think I'm gonna side with Blake. I don't think it will be clean. I think Jey Uso is gonna interfere and help him win, and you know he's gonna get the heel victory in the heel fashion. So I think that's how this is gonna go. And they're going to do what they can to make Drew look strong at the end of the day. If it's interference, it's interference. But I just don't see the heel Roman character losing just yet. They need to save that loss until WrestleMania. So whoever beats him at WrestleMania is going to get that clout. You can't do it now. Oh my God, if they beat Roman now, it'll be such a big mistake. So I hope they don't do that. That's the whole card. So I guess we have to wait and see what happens. It will be interesting. I will be joined by Mr. Rob and good brother Blake this Sunday for the post show. So looking forward to that. And possibly Doc Stevens if he can make it over. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. Email us at thirdgenwrestling@gmail.com. If you have a request for a retrospective, please email us or shoot us a message, and we will do so. We just did a fan request recently. It was a Monday Night Raw episode from 1993, if you can believe it. But it's a good one. It was a really good one. It was an easy show to watch. So make sure you check out that post show, as well as our Hell in a Cell post show, AEW's Full Gear post show, and I believe coming down the wire after Survivor Series, we will have our second movie review, and that will be Ready to Rumble. I believe the movie came out in 2000, if not mistaken. So yes, that's what's coming up. That's what we got going on. Make sure you all enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there. Pandemic is getting worse again, unfortunately. So mask up, wash your hands, sanitize, do all that good stuff. Take care of your family. Social distance. We got to beat this thing. We got to get to some kind of normalcy eventually again. So hope everybody's in good health. Take care. And we'll speak to you all again in a couple of days. Enjoy Survivor Series.